Today I fucked up by having shower sex and almost killing myself. In classic Today I fucked up fashion, this happened 3 years ago. It was my junior year of college and I found myself having regular coitus sessions with a woman. A human woman. Things were going great, but we decided to make things more interesting. In my mind, shower sex had always seemed like a good idea. I had seen videos of it and heard stories about it, so when she suggested we try it out I agreed instantly. I really should have done my research. At this point in my life, I had my own bathroom that had abysmal ventilation, but it had a shower/bathtub combo, so we decided on using my place. Guess I conflated the ideas of sex being hot and temperature being hot because I cranked the shit out of the heat in that shower. 2 minutes later and we've begun the act. The act itself was rather unpleasant. The plopping and squishing noises of our wet bodies were completely unexpected. As a tall dude, I have to like semi-squat behind her. After about 5 minutes or so we get into a groove and I can feel myself nearing completion, but I also start feeling very weird. Between the squishing, the squatting, the thrusting, and making sure nobody gets waterboarded accidentally, I realized I hadn't taken a breath in about 45 seconds. This sexual experience had been an entirely anaerobic experience for me and I just realized. As the bald man is about to cry his first tears, I desperately gasp for air. Steam in the bathroom is now a dense fog that contains little usable oxygen. Immediately, every muscle in my body simultaneously cramps. I fall out of the shower while decorating a wall with a Peter Parker-esque web. At this point, my muscles are too fucked to even attempt to stand, so I begin a last-ditch effort to crawl to open the door while still coming. My partner is visibly horrified and shrieking as she watches my wet, doughy, pale ass slide like a slug to the door, leaving a trail of water and my own ejaculate. After I managed to get out of the bathroom, I lost consciousness about 4 feet from the door. When I woke up, the girl was dressed and ready to leave. In my exhaustion, I mumbled a goodbye to her and waved as she departed. I always think about that goodbye from her perspective, a giant half-conscious naked man lying on the floor covered in his own semen waving goodbye. She might still be in therapy working out that image. TL, doctor had shower sex and cramped up/passed out from a lack of oxygen, having to crawl out of the bathroom while still ejaculating. 6/10ths experience overall. Dude, you nearly came and went at the same time. I wonder if she could tell if you were breathing or if she was just planning to leave a dead body there. She was worried she would need to find a new dick to use, so she rushed off to search sooner rather than later. She was just going to leave you there unconscious? Nice gal. Slee, what a jerk. She was just gonna leave with you passed out on the floor? WTF? Is there already a r/Askreddit about worst places to have sex that everyone thinks is the best place to have sex? My top 3 would be the aforementioned shower, at the beach, and in a car. No one wants to use a car. It's just convenient. Today I fucked up by possibly making a kid a paraplegic. I'm fucking pissed. I'm giving some passengers, a young couple in town, a ride to Street Hands. We're having a great conversation and coming down Harry Hines. We're on the left lane, and this city worker was coming out of a ditch on the right slowly, with his hazards on. This other dude is coming in at like 50 miles per hour and slams into the truck. He cusses about where the fuck did that guy come out of, backs out and takes off. The guy passenger in my car takes pictures and gets the dude's license plate, and I tell the girl to call 911. I park and the dude and I get out and go over to the guy. I didn't want to look inside because the front of the truck was all smashed in, and I never get used to seeing someone dead. Someone said he was out cold. His airbags deployed. Then the post starts leaning more, and the power lines start stretching. The post cracks and snaps something and a huge voltage flame shoots out. No one wants to move the guy because with a collision like that, you can seriously fuck them up more. Then someone yells that the truck is leaking gas like a motherfucker and they keep a perimeter. One of the scariest fucking things I've ever had to do in my life, but the thought of the flame flames reaching the gas and burning the dude alive. I couldn't stand around. I ran to the passenger side and unbuckled the guy's seatbelt and shouted at him to wake up. Blood, drool, and snot are coming out of his mouth. It's fucked up. I can smell the gas, and the cables are stretching even more. So now it's not just burning to death. There's a possibility for electrocution. So, fuck it. I run over to the driver's side and grab the guy. Couldn't have been more than 120 pounds and was about 5 feet 8 inches. I never realized how heavy deadweight actually is. All I'm thinking is, not today, not today, not today. Don't let me burn. Don't let me get electrocuted. Not today. This dude was heavy and I'm struggling. The other dudes come running to help and we haul his ass to the median. And the fucked up thing is that while all this is happening, I'm still thinking about that cunt that hit him just dipping the fuck out of there. This kid. He couldn't have been older than 25. Could have fucking died and the other dude just fucking left. A woman in blue scrubs. Couldn't tell if she was a nurse, doctor, or tech, and an EMT with a first aid kit were nearby. It's the medical district, after all, and we all tried keeping the kid awake. The EMT asks his name, and the kid's just mumbling. I start talking to him in Spanish. Blue Scrubs is telling him to stay awake, and we check his torso. He's got a fractured clavicle, a nasty bruise on it. The ambulance and fire truck arrive, horns blaring. Although only a few minutes passed, that shit felt like an hour. I'm proud of Maddie, the female passenger who called 911. She gave perfect directions. I'm holding the kid's hand just trying to let him know. We're all letting him know that he's okay. He's finally conscious and speaks English. He's local. And he just starts crying. You're gonna be alright, dude. They're here to help you. You're okay. His grip's weak. Then he says it. I can't feel anything. I can't feel anything. My back. That shit sinks me. I look at his legs, and he's moving them. You're okay, man. You're moving your legs. It's the shock. You're moving them. And I'm telling him this because I'm a selfish, scared piece of shit and I don't want to take the blame for possibly making him a paraplegic. But he was moving his legs. He was flexing his feet. I want him to know that he's gonna walk. He can still walk. I'm pissed at myself almost as much as I'm pissed at that abysmal coward who couldn't face the destruction he caused and lammed. The paramedics get the stretcher and I gotta let go of the kid's hand. I tell him he's gonna be alright, but I just don't know. The adrenaline is dying down. I probably stink like a goddamn dumpster. And I'm alone with my thoughts. I couldn't stand it, so I wrote this, because I want you to know that if this kid's a paraplegic, it's my fault. Too long didn't read. A kid in a really bad collision was knocked out. Power lines were dangerously close to snapping. His truck is leaking gasoline and there's a potential for fire as well as electrocution. I made the decision to pull him out because I couldn't bear the thought of him burning to death or being electrocuted. But even after the ambulance had picked him up and taken him, no fire started and no power lines snapped. And I may have simply made his spine worse. Pics of the aftermath. Edit, y'all are absolutely awesome. Your kind words. The love from everyone is really something. Thanks. I've been on this really strict diet and I've been working out hard every day for a week and a half, but today I followed some of y'all's advice and said fuck it, popped a clonazepam, went to one of my favorite Mexican restaurants with my wife, and had 2 margaritas, a bowl of guac, and a big fried cheese quesadilla. Going to sleep now. Have a great and safe night. Victory hand. Edit 2, something else that had been going through my head when someone mentioned the gas. Edit 3, added to the imager gallery this image to illustrate how hard the impact of kids' truck's spin had to be to crack and drag the post from its original position. Also, someone was able to identify to me the name of the company that truck belongs to, and I'm gonna try to find out which hospital he's at and will let you know of anything I find out. I don't want to involve myself in his life, just want to know how he's doing. You made a difficult decision. You may have saved his life if a fire starter or the cables came down on him. Keep in mind as well, that the collision could be the cause of him being paralyzed, not you. Either way, man, you are a hero. Not many people would do what you have done. You should hold your head up high for risking yourself for someone else's sake. Deleted. Firefighter EMT here. You can't sweat stuff like that. You made a call, Sounds like you made the same call that I would have. What you did is called an emergency move. We do that if their life is in immediate danger and we don't have time to package them in place. Sometimes that is what you have to do to save a life. And hey, what's done is done. Accept that you made a decision that could have saved his life. I've had a broad range of ages die on me, 4 to 90 plus. That 4-year-old still gets me a lot. The nightmares have mostly stopped, but I still get flashbacks and certain things will set me off sobbing. But I know that I did the best that I could do, and I can't go back and change anything, and even if I could have, the outcome would have been the same. Dealing with people's health and lives can sometimes suck, but be confident in your decisions that you made. Don't let what ifs creep into your thinking. Maybe this helps, I don't know, it's late. You're not the only one who's been through something like this, so don't isolate yourself. For myself, I've found that talking about stuff with some close friends helps me. That kid's mom thinks you're a hero for sure. You did the right thing. Mom here. This is exactly correct. You saved somebody's baby. Thanks for being the person who didn't ignore the situation. Corpses are paralyzed from the everything down. You made the right call. If the kid burned to death or electrocuted, you would be wishing you did something. Today I fucked up by getting my whole family mega high on edibles for 48 hours over Christmas. So as the title says, this wasn't today, it all started on Christmas Eve. I'll set the scene. It's Christmas Eve at my family home with my parents, brother, sister, my GF and my brother's GF. All of us are in our early 20s, besides my parents who are mid-50s. They have never had a problem with us smoking weed and would do it with us on occasion. A few months before, me and my GF had made a batch of edibles and got pretty high off them, but nothing too crazy. On Christmas Eve I thought it would be a great idea to make a new batch of similar strength and get the whole family high, as we are early all together as all us kids are at different universities. So I start making the edibles, but I can't remember exactly how much weed I used in the first batch. I had 6 grams on me and used it all as there was 7 of us, so nothing too crazy, or so I thought. Now when we made the first batch, me and my GF cut the brownies into 12 pieces and only ever had one at a time. However, my mum has a fancy brownie maker which cuts them for you into 9 pieces. So straight away I knew these would be a bit stronger than before, but still I didn't think they would be that strong. Boy was I wrong. So I finish baking the brownies at around 2 PM on Christmas Eve and the family descends on them like a plague of locusts. Half an hour goes by and no one is feeling anything. Mum is just about to serve up dinner. We had it early as we knew no one would be able to make it later. We sit down to start eating and then one by one we start to feel it. My dad, who has a history of passing out after smoking weed, finished his dinner in a matter of seconds and crawls off to the sofa as he can't stand up and needs to lie down. So off he goes, and about 15 minutes later we finish our dinner and go to see where he has got to. We walk into our lounge to discover him already asleep on the sofa. So about 20 more minutes go by and we are all feeling pretty high at this point. My mum starts freaking out and saying she doesn't like this at all and needs some way to stop the high. I tell her that there is no way to stop it and to just ride it out. After about another 30 minutes my dad suddenly gets up from the sofa like he's the Undertaker and dashed off to the kitchen as he needs more food. He then proceeds to make about 15 slices of toast for everyone to eat, as well as about 5 for himself. At this point we realize that no one has wrapped any presents yet and my 85-year-old grandmother is coming round for Christmas tomorrow. So we hastily try to wrap some presents, but no one really gets anything done, as by this point no one can even stand up anymore. Now me and my brother are seasoned stoners, but even we can't move more than 2 steps before falling to the floor and needing 15 minutes rest to get up again. We decide that the only thing we can do is to try and sleep it off and hopefully we feel better in the morning. So after a while of all 7 of us struggling up the stairs, we finally make it into our beds and try to sleep it off. We all wake up on Christmas Day still whacked out of our minds and not able to function properly. We then realize that we have to go and pick up my brother's friend up who is joining us for Christmas, but none of us are in any state to drive. So, after After explaining to my grandmother that none of us can drive to pick up the friend as we are all too high to move, we had to call an Uber to bring the friend to us, which cost a small fortune as it was Christmas, as he was about 25 miles away. So we soldier on through Christmas, all of us trying to just not be high anymore, and we finally make it to the end of the day still high as a kite. Go to sleep and wake up the next day, and guess what? We're still high as fuck. I genuinely thought it would never end, but eventually later that day we all started coming back down to planet Earth. So yeah, I ruined Christmas by getting my whole family too high to move. Update: people are asking for more things that happened, so I'll share a few with you. As I replied to one comment, my mum was answering the TV every time someone on the TV asked a question. This next one needs a little context. In our kitchen we have an Aga. This is basically a fancy oven that is always on as a way to heat up the house. I never use it as the temperature isn't consistent and I always burn anything that I put in it. This is because I don't know what temperature it is, and my mum always says it's around 200 degrees Celsius. My mum always has a go at me whenever I use the regular oven as it's wasteful. With that out the way, I'll get to the funny bit. This was right before mum served up dinner. She got the Yorkshire puddings out of the Aga and they were completely burned. I ask why they are burnt if she knows the temperature, and she looks me dead in the eye and says I have no idea what the temperature of the Aga is. This was enough to send us both into fits of laughter for about 5 minutes. Update 2. Thank you for the gold, kind stranger. Update 3. For those saying this story isn't true, I can 100% guarantee that it is. Update 4. Wow, my first platinum. Thank you so much. Too long, didn't read. I accidentally made my family a crazy strong batch of edibles and ruined Christmas. I thought your dad would have been the weakest of you all, but I must say I was wrong. After his power nap woke the beast within him. I can totally imagine the stoner logic going through his head. Hungry, need food. Oh hi, what's easy? Toast is easy. What if everyone else wants toast? I'll make everyone toast. How many people are there? Me, wife, kids, so's. How many slices of bread do I need? Counting these things is hard. Fuck it, I'm toasting the whole loaf. Thanks for making me laugh. Glad I could make you laugh. One of my close friends had a similar experience. On the occasion of Holi in India, it's customary to drink Voang. Now this friend has never made a batch on her own but decided to this year. Entire family high for 3 days. Brilliant. I had 2 Voang goalies before watching Han Solo with my friends, and I was just mildly laughing and had a headache throughout the movie. I thought that was it. No. As soon as we came out, shit hit the fan. I downed a burger, a batch of popcorn chicken and a Coke. No idea of how I got back to my room and passed the fuck out. I hate Voang because you can never tell how much you need to have and it hits you all of a sudden. Popcorn chicken, not chicken popcorn. My bad. This story is amazing. Never laughed so hard. You have an awesome family. Yeah, it's funny to laugh at it now, but it was scary at the time. Thank you. Yeah, everyone is pretty cool. Are you sure you were high 2 days after the ingestion? One day I've gotten the impression to be high the next days after the ingestion, but it feel a bit different, and after some research I found the phenomenon of derealization. It could be that. Smile. I believe it. As a seasoned potent edible maker, I have not experienced it, but I have seen it. My mom was high for 2 days, unable to move.